Welcome back to another episode of Health is Wealth. And I'm so excited to have you folks back. Thank you again for all of your support. I always truly am grateful and appreciate every single one of you. And as always, I hope you're getting value out of these episodes. My hope is just to share a few words of wisdom, some of the things I'm going through, and just maybe you could take something with it to perhaps learn from and grow from. So again, hope you're finding value in these. And I'm excited for today's topic because it's something I haven't talked about in a bit, but just thinking about this going into the holiday seasons, probably a good time to bring it up. Very important to always think about this topic we're going to discuss at any time of the year. But just knowing that, we're going to get into this point now with holidays and, stress and all these different things. This thing matters. And that topic is going to be mental health, right? It's a very important thing for us to be aware of because through life's everyday struggles, especially as adults, we carry a lot of responsibilities through our everyday. And typically, we let things bottle up, We don't like to tell a lot of people about our problems for many different reasons I've come to believe. One is sometimes you don't want to burden people, understanding people are going through problems themselves. And at times we just don't want to feel like we're telling people we can't handle the stresses that are going on in our lives. And so I think sometimes we hold back, how we are really feeling to put on a strong face, put on the game face, And although it's understandable, I think it's important to be aware of our mental health at all times. Again, it's coming now into the holidays. You're probably gonna have a lot of stress, trying to work extra hours, maybe for some gift for your loved ones, many different things that you're tackling and this and that. And it's important to remind ourselves just how important mental health is in us being at our best every day, right? And how we do so, is just find ways that we can relieve some anxiety, some stress, some of the things that are bothering us. And there's so many different ways that we can do that. For me, health, with my fitness is such a huge part of ways that I use as sort of a therapy coping mechanism, right? To release stress, because to understand what's going on as I see it is when we're building up, stress, right? It's a lot of this energy, that's getting charged up in our bodies from anxiety, from stress, from feeling overwhelmed, from feeling frustrated, from what all these emotions are that are going through our bodies. And when we don't have a way to release them, we pretty much just have all this energy, bottled up, which gives us that overwhelming feeling, and it has the ability to not, put us in the greatest of positions when it comes to, our thoughts mentally, maybe just how it affects our behavior and other things of that nature. And so what we got to remind ourselves is that we've got to find ways to exert, to get out, into the universe, off our chest, into the world physically, all of this energy that gets bottled up from all these, struggles and emotions that we're dealing with in life generally. And unfortunately, like I said, it could lead to some bad things, unfortunately, in some people's past if we're just not careful with it and we don't pay attention to it and we don't understand, that we need to take care of it, And like I said, there's so many different ways to do it, but most time people just bottle things up until they hit a boiling point, and then it all explodes and then, it can just get really ugly from there. And so it is beyond important, everyone, to make sure that every day in our lives, we are constantly working, as much as everything else that we are working on, as we are our mental health, because it is what allows us the capability to deal with all the things that we deal with and process the stuff that we process with. the one thing to understand, like I said, I feel sometimes people just hold back because they don't want to burden other people with their problems, and they don't want people to feel like they can't handle their problems, right? Just understand everybody's going through similar things, right? We all have it in us. We all have problems. I understand some are bigger than others, and I get that. But the reality is everybody's dealing with something, you know? And so it's a feeling, it's an emotion that everybody themselves has and can understand. And like I said, sometimes I feel you don't want to burden people, and that's okay, right? It's okay to feel like they've got enough problems. I don't want to give them any more problems. But I think we just got to approach things a little different, right? You don't necessarily have to go tell anyone your problems, you know? I think it's great if you have, friend, family, maybe you can, just vent out to, say, hey, I'm like, I'm not trying to tell you this so you can solve all my problems, but just want to let you know what I'm feeling right now, so somebody can hear it. Sometimes the best remedy of releasing a lot of these stresses is, again, getting it out there so it's not sitting on your chest and in your mind. Sometimes that's just venting, just for the sake of venting. Maybe let a close friend know, hey, just want to vent to you, just to kind of get some of these emotions out of me. I find many different ways to handle a lot of my own situations. This is why I do a lot of the things that I do, because I believe a great way to help with mental stress is finding things that relax you, finding things that make you feel good, finding ways, again, to de-stress, let out the physical energy that's getting bottled up from all the emotions of feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and all the things that life throws at us every day, which is a huge part of why I exercise and why I advocate for it. I think it's one of the most underrated forms of therapy that there has to be, because it does so much for you physically and mentally being in a gym. First and foremost, if we've got all this tension, and energy that's bottled up from emotions because of stress and all these different things that mess with our mental health, getting in a gym where you can physically exert energy out, physically get it out, get all that bad juju out, is the best place for you to do so. Moving around heavy weights, taking a self-defense class and finding a punchy bag and let out that anger, let out the frustration where nobody can get hurt. There's so many different benefits to just physical activity itself that I believe is just a great promoter of ways to distress from, mental stress. And that's why I do so much of what I do. Obviously there are a lot of the benefits that I do it for physically, but there's a lot of mental stuff that comes from it, and it's just a de-stressor. I think it's important to find things that you're passionate and just enjoy doing for the heck of it, because I think that as well has a way of just bringing you down, calming you down a bit, because when we are constantly on the go, hustle, grind, in the emotions, in these struggles, and you don't have time for yourself, you don't have the time to just kind of decompose a bit, just relax and enjoy something that's a little bit selfish just for you to do, then you're never out of that situation, and you constantly feel like you're just getting fired on from life with all the stresses that bottle up and the responsibilities and this and that, which is why I find other things that make me happy, my music, right? Just a creative form of outlet, and as much of these little things as you can incorporate into your everyday, it's going to help combat mental stress and really help you in your mental health, sometimes, again, it's just really getting things out of our chest onto or into the world, which I think a great form of that is journaling, writing. Sometimes you don't really want to tell people about your problems. I get that, but sometimes you just feel like maybe if you can just get it out of you, you'll just feel 10 times better, and I promise you, you will. So I think journaling can be a great way to release that. Nobody has to see what you're writing down, but if you're able to write down what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, what's making you stressed, what you're overwhelmed about, all these different things, you just have a way of getting it out to where it's not just you bottling up these emotions. Even if nobody else sees it, there's a way for you to push that energy out in writing form. And so if it's not something you guys are really thinking about lately, or, often much, I highly advise you just take a step back and ask yourself, what kind of emotions are you feeling? Do you feel stressed out? My worst fear of people not, handling and taking care of their mental health and bottling it all up is, look, we just got to see it for what it is, you know? I think mental health and bad mental health and stress and overload, it's got to be one of the number one contributors to suicide, you know? And I've seen it happen. I know people who's happened to. I've heard of people who's happened to. And that's the worst case scenario for people, you know, who just bottle things up, is they don't feel that they can handle things in life. And so the best way that they could have figured out to take, you know, the pain away was to go an unbearable, you know, route. And I hate to even talk about this stuff, you know, truly, but it's just the reality of it. Why it is so important for us to be aware of mental health first within ourselves and just recognize we need to be doing something, not if, and, or want, but we need to find ways in our lives that we can deal with stress, manage stress, that will allow us to deload the energy that is built up, because that's what that mental health, you know, anxiety and overwhelming and all those emotions come from, is just letting things compile up and just letting it build up and build up and build up again until you reach a boiling point, right? And there's all those different ways that we can go about getting rid of that feeling, through physical stuff, through hobbies, just stuff you enjoy doing, getting out, taking a walk, writing things down in a journal, just so you can get your feelings out there on paper and it doesn't feel like it's bottled up in you. You can even rip it up and throw it in the trash, right? You can do so many different things. You know, there are hotlines, you know, there are anonymous hotlines. If you're just like, I don't want to talk to anybody who I know because maybe I'm too embarrassed. Maybe I don't want to share these kind of issues, you know, with my family. Maybe I'm just uncomfortable. Again, maybe you just feel like you don't want to burden someone, or you just don't want to feel like people don't, you know, feel like you can handle your situations, right? You can call anonymous hotlines, you know, that will allow you to speak to someone, because sometimes it's the best way is just to get it out. You could talk to someone who doesn't know you personally, you know, someone who you can just vent to, you know, and it's the greatest thing that you can do for yourself. And for anyone that is out there and hearing this, just know that I am here for you anytime you need me. DM me, send me comment, whatever it is. You know, if you ever feel a certain way, you just feel like, this guy's talking to me, you know, I need to fix, you know, things with my mental health because I'm just feeling stressed in the world of today. Just let me know what I can do to help. I promise you I'm a great listener, you know, and more so than this, I think, you know, it can be extremely hard to go to people for help. It really is. I get there. I've been there. I understand the feeling of that, you know, where it can be hard to approach someone and be like, I'm not okay right now. I'm feeling this way right now. And so I think as important it is for us to check our own mental health, for everyone that is listening, it is just as important that we check on one another, right? Because I've come to realize, seeing it firsthand, is that sometimes there is someone out there who is dying in here and up here to tell someone that they need help. And it is the hardest thing in the world. I've been there before, guys. And you have to reach out to people to ask them, how are they feeling? Are you doing good? Right? Because sometimes that's all that people need. Just for someone to say that, and then they will tell you things. They may tell you, you know what, you're right, like, I'm not doing good. Actually, thank you for asking, because I'm not feeling all right. I've been there, I've seen it, I've witnessed it. I've been that person myself. And so, guys, just as important it is for us to be aware of our own mental stuff, it's more important too, just to be there for one another, right? And so, guys, this is, again, just coming to the holidays, knowing that, you know, there's a lot of stress. There's always a lot of stress in life. There's a lot going on in this world, right? But more so the holidays, because they tend to be the most stressful of situations, you know, because there's a lot going on. You know, you're stressed because you're overworked. You want to take care of your loved ones. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of families that are dealing with a lot of, you know, rough times right now as well. And just know that you're not the only one who feels that way. I promise you. Sometimes we think that in our head that we're the only one who feels this, frustrated or stressed or overwhelmed or whatever it is. Just know you're not the only one. Just know that there is help for you too if you reach out to someone. Also know you can do so much within your own power to help eliminate that stress by working out, by doing things that are fun for you, by writing out your things, by just going in an empty room, a far place by yourself and just screaming at the top of your lung. It is energy, guys. It's energy. It's energy. It is energy that we just need to get out of us when we get to that point where we feel overwhelmed. That's it. So just understand that that's all it comes down to. And if you can find ways to do it through that, it's going to make you feel better. Every time I go in the gym and hit some heavy weights, or I'm on my heavy bag, just letting loose on it, you feel depleted. You feel refreshed. You feel recharged because you let go of all the bad juju that's sitting here, which then comes up to here. And then when it comes up to here, it's a dangerous space for people. I don't want to see people go that route in their lives. So guys, mental health, it is by far the most important thing that we have in our lives, that we have to focus on. And it's just one of those things, apologies for me being a little emotional here. I just know people who I think about, had there been a little bit more they could have done, somebody could have done, something could have happened, they wouldn't have, taken their lives or things like that. So it's just one of those things that if we can continue to ourselves, right? Just think about in our day to day, it's going to make everything a little bit better, and all it comes down to is just getting off what's on our chest, in our mind, out into the world, however it is. So please, 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 everyone, mental health is extremely important. Know that it is okay to not be okay. Understand everybody's going through something. Understand there are ways to deal with it so you don't have to feel that way. And again, the other message is to all of us, check on one another. Hey bro, how you doing? Hey sis, how's it going? People in public, whoever, everything all right with you? I know, we've been busy in life, but everything good? I think sometimes we dismiss it and just don't understand. There is somebody screaming silently, waiting for someone just to reach out, to feel visible, to feel like, oh, thank God you said something, because I am not doing okay, guys. Like I said, sorry to get a little emotional out there. This is just really personal to me. I just know people who've gone through the mental health thing. I understand how tough it is. I understand in today's world, things are not easy. And just want to remind everybody how important that is so that we can keep going, keep pushing, keep striving for the bigger, better version of ourselves. Again, if you're dealing with anything, please reach out to me, reach out to Anonymous Hotline, anything. And if there's any more I can do to give you advice on ways to, again, cope with stress so that we can keep our mental health, strong and healthy like our body, like everything else, please let me know what I can do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I really, really, really hope you got something from this, and just reminding ourselves just how important mental health is. Thank you so much for another great episode. I'm going to tune in to you in the next